Hey Scrapper Names fans, welcome to another 12 by 12 layout with a gorgeous cut file here. I think it's a Paige Taylor Evans one, I think, from the Silhouette store. I think. But anyway, so I am using some gorgeous Cocoa Vanilla Studio product here. I've got some Bohemian Dream papers backing my cut file here, and I think this is the More Than Words paper, 12 by 12 paper here. So I've gone with some really bright funky colours from, as I said, that Bohemian Dream papers. And then I've gone with a really nice soft floral for my background. Just because I thought that would make this heart cut file really pop up off the page more than having sort of a, another coloured sort of paper. I did think about doing the reverse, but because there's so much white with all the big white love hearts and things like that, it just wouldn't work. So it took me a couple of goes just to decide what I was going to do, and it sat there for a little while before I did it, and yeah, blah blah blah, here we are. So once all that decision was made, I decided then I wanted to get a little fancy with my cut file, and I wanted to do a shaker pocket. So I decided to get some double-sided foam tape, and for mine, because it's the Kaiser Craft brand, it's quite thick, so I had to cut it in half and sort of mold it around the center of this circle, around the edge of the circle, sorry, and then using some acetate piece, which is basically a fuse pocket, a fuse tool pocket, cut in half, because I'm not real technical in my supplies, and that's all I had. And that's what's sticking to that. I'm then getting a mix of my sequins, sprinkling in the middle as you can see, and then I'm going to use some glossy accents to adhere the rest of the edging down around to my background paper. Simple as that, so I say. I had to check with the cut file queen, or my cut file queen as such, Virginia Walker, or aka Gold Dove Crafts, because I couldn't remember how to do it, and every time I do these it always looks crap, and hers always look beautiful. So this is the first one of these shaker pockets that have turned out absolutely beautifully, so I was so excited. Yes, and the difference is I did the double-sided foam tape first and then used the glossy accents to adhere the sort of second step, I guess, to the background paper, and it worked a charm. So that, I think, is the trick. Yay! So yes, it worked really well. So I'm using literally just a bit of hodgepodge of sequins there. It's literally just a mix of colours. I've tried to sort of match up with a little bit of what's in the papers as well as what's going on in my photos. Another reason I chose the floral background is because the photo is taken outside. It's of my son and my niece's suit that she's wearing. Not that you can see it from this angle. She has some little flowers on it, so it kind of ties in really well. It gives that really soft, baby, gentle kind of feel to the page as well, even though this page is actually going in my son's album. It's of him holding her, so meh, who cares? It's his album. I've touched in some blues and some more deeper colours to give that bit of a masculine feel, but I also wanted that softer touches because the pages of him holding her and that beautiful little cuddles that they were having together. So I don't care. Now, once all that was done, I mucked around a little bit as to what I was going to do with my two photos. So yes, I have two photos. I couldn't decide if I was going to back them, and what I'm doing now is trying to decide. I was rummaging through some papers I had in a drawer as to whether or not I wanted to back them on that, whether or not I wanted to back them on some glitter cardstock, whether or not even on vellum. In the end, I just leave it as is. There's enough going on with the cut file and the couple of different pattern papers and then the background pattern paper. I don't need to be adding any more colour to the mix. And I'm really happy with that decision. When I look at it now, even from here, it really doesn't need any more, so I'm cool with it. Then I was like kind of stumped for a title because I was like, okay, what the hell am I going to put across this as a title? And I had a couple of ideas, and then I was a bit like rummaging through my thickers, and I was like, I really want to use up some of these types of thickers, chipboard pieces, like words. And I have a heap of them, and they've all got mixed matched bits and pieces. So I was like, right, I'm using these. They gotta go. And these ones are actually cocoa vanilla chipboard ones as well. I think they're from the Bohemian Dream. So I was like, right, what's on here that I can use? And I went with the phrase, "You are lovely." Because, as I said, it's of him holding her, and he's brilliant with my nieces and nephews. Like, I've got my littlest niece here, Thea, and her older sister, Holly, who's the same age as my little one. So she'll be actually 6 in like 2 days. And they just adore him. So he is lovely with them. And what I actually did there, because I was rambling on, is painted those chipboard words using a Colour Blast shimmer pen. So it's like a gold shimmery paint pen kind of thing, liquidy. There was gold, and then there was a silver one I actually used, which I don't think you saw then. But so one word is in gold, one will be in silver, and one is just going to be kept plain white. And you'll see shortly the plain white one is going to go near the sequins there. So I just wanted those to stand out a little bit, but not too much, which you'll see here. Oh my god, by the way, fought with these peeling the backing sticking paper bit off. That made no sense. This is what happens when you do voiceovers at a really late time of night after working all day with a headache. You can't string sentences together. That's my excuse all the time, but this is what happens when you do voiceovers. The only time you have voiceovers is of a night. But as you can see, those pens, and I tried to get some in the close-ups to see the shimmer. They are a really pretty shimmer in them. But yeah, so I wanted to use the silver as well, because I always use the gold. Just to make them, if they were all white, then they would pop out. They wouldn't, they'd blend into the cut file and then the background paper far too much. So I wanted to make sure they popped out a little bit. So I always knew that once I picked those, that they were always going to have like a paint colour over them. Just picking which one was just, yeah. So just rummaging through my little box of pins and buttons and flare badges and deciding what I was going to pop on here. Probably spent so much time on this layout playing around with sequins and embellishments, these little types of embellishments, than anything else, because I wanted to try and use my stash up. Not use it up, but just dive into parts that I don't always dive into in my collection. So yes. So just adding a little paper clip there, something I don't always use. I've added a Charms, oh no, I haven't added it yet. I've got the heart sitting up there to add, the little Charms Creation one. There it is, playing with it now. There we go. And I was debating adding that extra heart, but it's got a nice bit of dimension to the page as well. Nice subtle hints of the colours in the background as well, brought to the front of the page. And it just, as I said, adds that bit of pop, that extra little bit of dimension, and a little bit of extra texture to the page as well. And I had this little cut apart pulled out because it's another part of the Cocoa Vanilla collection. So I've reorganised my stash, and I will do a craft room too, a new updated one. And I've put all my collections in by designer. So all my Cocoa Vanilla stuff is in together. So I wanted to use this because I brought this cut apart and I have barely touched it, as you could see. And then out of it all, I use this. So I was like, oh my god, really? So just journaling a little bit on this. So I was going to journal in the hearts, but it would look a bit odd upside down, and I couldn't, it just wasn't going to work for me the way I wanted it to. So I left it. And I did dive in my little yellow tub of, as we've been calling it since my last, I think, Facebook Live. For those that joined my Kitaholics one, I have my little yellow tub of Die Cuts Must Die box, which is all my random box of die cuts that just, float around my room that just don't seem to disappear. So they go in that yellow box to die, hopefully. So I pulled some bits and pieces out of that one as well. please tell me I'm the only one that has a box like that sits somewhere either on your desk or in a drawer that just, it's where all your random embellishments, you know, when you just might have a pack and there's like a couple of bits left, and you just can't be bothered to put them in a container, and you just go, yep, bang, that's the container they go into, or the little tub, or, you know, little tray or something you have that, you know, that's what I'm calling my Die Cuts Must Die box. And it's just not dwindling away. It literally has the most random embellishments that I just do not use. It is driving me nuts. I have to figure out a way to use it because, ugh. Anyway, if you have any suggestions, apart from DIY tags and things like that, please leave them in the comments below. I would love to know what you do with your Die Cuts Must Die box. So now I'm just going through my other embellishment boxes that are sorted by colour. And just going through and having a bit of a look-see as to what I can find to add. I've added some larger enamel, or they're not enamel, they're sort of like an acrylic-y kind of coloured dot bling. Just to add some more pops of shiny colour and sparkle. And I think that's my layout complete. So I love this layout. I think it's beautiful and it will go in my son's album, and voila. So thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and I'll see you again soon. Bye.